Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Doruk, and today I have for you my fifth Hobbit League game in the 2026 season. This game I played against Thibaut, 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 but apologies if I'm mispronouncing it. And yeah, let's jump right into it. Not much to say. So I'm playing as the Shadow for two action tokens, and my starting cards are the Shadow Lengthens and the Nazgul Strike. So good cards. I'm not sure. Like Shadow Lengthens, some people like to use it to reinforce Moranen real quickly from Barad-dûr, or maybe just go out to Dimrildale and maybe use the Dol Guldur army to just reinforce quickly. I'm not sure if it's that necessary at the beginning of the game, but solid card. Nazgul Strike. Nazgul Strike is really good if you can reveal the Fellowship, especially before Moria. Then you may maybe even reveal them into Moria with Nazgul Strike, and it allows you to move Nazgul with the Palantir. So excellent cards. And for this game, I can see my opponent's cards. They start with Scouts and Eagles are coming. Scouts are obviously excellent. Not so much. I can't say the same thing for Eagles. Very situational card. But Red Arrow is not playable. Yeah, so neither of these cards are playable, which kind of unfortunate. So yeah, jump right into it. So I allocated 0 eyes and got this roll, which is a lot of musters. Shadow likes musters early on, but obviously not a lot of attacks. And Free People gets this very flexible role. Looking at the situation, I think they'll most likely move a couple times. Maybe draw a card since they don't have any playable cards, and just Palantir. Sorry, hybrid move maybe someplace or maybe muster down the elves. I think given that you have scouts, I think I'd be more inclined to put the guy into Old Forest Road. Maybe you Palantir move. So you ring move with this Palantir. You switch the turn order. You ring move into Moria. Yeah, you might use it to hide as well. So like you probably should like keep on to this die. But the Shadow will get all nations to war, get Saruman, etc., etc. So I think it's gonna be a interestingly standard turn. So I start by bringing Isengard down. They pass. I start bringing Sauron down. I'm waiting Free People to use this will before I get Saruman in case they move, then they get it, but they don't, so that's fine. I draw a card because I also don't have any playable cards. Yeah, very standard. And my opponent chooses to move the elves down. This is certainly fine. Fine choice, especially because Shadow is not really threatening to put anybody under siege. Like I can't even reach Woodland Realm. With this Dol Guldur army, I can't even reach up there. So certainly putting down the elves is okay. If I had a couple more attacks, maybe you don't want to put down the elves that aggressively, because then I could just put Woodland Realm under siege. So my plan at this point, okay, I'm just gonna obviously get Saruman with one of these dice, and I prepare in Moria and just try to do the classic Alvin Pincer move. Maybe instead of this Moria move, you could also go Farhara to Nirhara. Just the wait out the Free People to see how they're gonna use maybe a monster token. But so here they draw a card, assuming because they don't have any playable cards, which makes sense. If you don't draw a playable card, maybe then you move into Moria with a Palantir. Like, but they also with this switcheroo they delay Saruman as well. Like if I get Saruman, No, they don't actually. The Gandalf isn't dead. Because with this monster, I can just bring Sauron's Sword. I know I'll need them eventually. Maybe you muster once into Dol Guldur to maybe send this army immediately to Woodland Realm. That's also an option. But or muster in once into Orthanc, because you always end up doing that anyway. But you also always end up bringing down the Sauron. So which one of these musters do you prioritize as Shadow? I'm not really sure. If you have an opinion, feel free to share it. I'd love to hear about it. But I bring the Southrons down to war because another thing, I can use this muster to, like, if they ring move with the Palantir to try to kill Gandalf, and so then they will try to get the Gandalf with a will. So maybe I don't even get Saruman. In that case, I would want to bring them Southrons to war to threaten maybe David at dawn. So very like it's small and a minor way to use the muster, I think. But my opponent, now that they have power to great, obviously play it like, why give me a ring? And I think this is certainly a correct, like a fine decision. So yeah. Yeah, I like it. No reason to give me a ring. Even if you give me a ring, it's not even guaranteed that you're gonna hit me, that you're gonna get hit to kill Gandalf. So this is certainly fine. And power to great is obviously a Palantir Master. Why don't we move the elves down? Well, I hope that doesn't. I hope we correct this, because this could certainly matter. Anyway, I get Saruman. My opponent moves. They get hit. One, kill Gandalf. So, had they ring moved with that Palantir, would I have ring moved? I don't think I would have ring moved. But if you're gonna use the token, like if you're gonna use the token, you're gonna be revealed into Moria. You really wanna hide, but then you would want to use that hybrid die to hide in Moria instead of like monstering down the elves to like full sprint. But this is a very obviously fine thing to do. So my opponent passes on the token, and I suspect it's probably because, I mean, I'm nowhere near the elves. I'm nowhere near the elves. Yeah, there's no reason to put the elves to give me a very early Witch King for no reason. So I would not even have used the token probably, but okay. So go to turn 2. I draw into Swarm Bats, excellent, and Phlox. Okay, Phlox is a good combat card. I locate one eye, roll 2 more. Don't hate it, because it's going to be their Moria move. And I have a bunch of attacks, like perfect. And my opponent gets not the best roll. They would really appreciate a will. But, I mean, they have Eomer. They can play a card. Yeah, I mean, what do you do with this other Palantir? Very questionable. But maybe you ring move a second time if you're not caught. I mean, you'll probably use it to hide as well if you get caught. So let's see. So I start organizing. I start going for this, which I think makes sense if you think the elves are at step 2. But the elves are actually on step... Wait, sorry. This is step 2. This is step... This is weird. This should be 1, 2, 3. Anyway, given that elves are actually 1 away from war, actually, I think this play... 1 second. Okay, we're back. So, given that the elves are 1 step away from war, and my opponent hasn't used their token, this is a little too slow, probably. Because I thought, okay, they're just going to be able to get the elves to war, so with all these attacks, I can just merge in front of Dimrill Dale and probably make a decent headway with this army in Daggerlad up here, like 4 movements, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? If they put elves to war, at least I'll get a cheap Lorien, right? And this army can just maybe even bypass Woodland Realm. If they muster like 3 elites in here, I can just go Dale into Erebor maybe, or just go Erebor instead. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but like elves are actually 1 away, so they can just get 1 elite into Lorien. But alas, my opponent plays Eomer. Yeah, even if you hide with one, you don't know what you're gonna do with the other. I don't hate it. Fine. Might have just moved to see what happens. But also maybe you're waiting out for me to evacuate. I don't know. It's probably minor. So I move, I start going, and my opponent moves. I catch them, and I reveal them, which is huge. They do reveal into Moria. And Moria tiles a 0. Okay, well, I don't have any cards that can take advantage, but... So... I don't know why I merge in Near Harad. I think I should just merge in Dimmeldale and keep going north. But like I have all these musters anyway, so I'm just like waiting to see how Fellowship uses them, like how Free People use them. So, and I do need to get rid of Power to Grade. Actually, that's one other major thing. And which one of these cards, which one of these army dice do you get rid of it with? Interesting. So I merge, but now, given this situation, if I use this die to get rid of Power to Great, I can only besiege Lorien next turn, which gives my opponent enough time to muster there once. That's what I thought. However, when they use the token like this, we realize that they forgot to advance the elves with Power to Great. And now they're at war. And now suddenly they're going to get way too many more units than I initially planned for. And yeah, this is one of those mistakes that certainly changes the dynamic of the game. And, and I mean, yeah, there's not much to it. Like, my opponent like kindly asked, like, does it change your plan? It would have changed my plan. And I thought they did, but they didn't, because I thought they used the hybrid to like do hybrid stuff in the first turn. And we just kind of joke. Yeah, it does make it awkward, because if I knew the elves were that close to war, I probably just would have maybe mustered once in Dol Guldur and just like gone north and just kept Lorien alone, especially after my opponent showed me Power to Great. Yeah, this is obviously... I mean, it's also my responsibility to keep track of the game state, so like it's, both players' responsibility, so okay. Unfortunate, but whatever. So, now that the elves are at war, I just get the Witch King. At least let me get my 9th die, just be as much quicker. My opponent will get a lot of musters, both into Woodland Realm and Lorien. But, what can I do? This muster, I was like interesting to me, because there's no rush to mustering into Lorien. Like you can muster there at the beginning of the next turn and muster once again when I do get rid of Power to Great. Like, I feel like you should, because you have scouts, I feel like I would just use the hybrid as a hybrid. Just go Old Forest Road and invest in that. But my opponent may be thinking about playing the Red Arrow for its card effect. I don't know. I mean, if I'm going to muster into one of the Elven Strongholds, it's going to be the Woodland Realm probably first, given Power to Great is protecting Lorien. So, anyway. We go to turn 3. I overdraw, which is not something you want to do, especially when you're playing against Power to Great, but oh well. Here, I think I get rid of... I plan to get rid of Shadow Lengthens and Phlox or Nazgul Strike for the Power to Great. So I think, yeah, I get rid of the other one for the overdraw. Okay, I look at one eye. Roll 2 more. Okay, I'm keep getting attacks, which is nice. And my opponent just gets no muster roll. Like, this is one other downside of... Oh, they did get it and lead into Woodland Realm. All right, fair. This is one of the downsides of pushing elves to war. You may not roll a muster. And are you really going to give up on Gandalf to use this will as a muster? I don't think so. So at least this reversal of the luck was in my favor. Oh, I totally forgot. They separate Strider and Boromir into Eastemnet along with a Hobbit? No, the Hobbits stay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, first of all, I think, like, just... I think you should have moved first before... Not passed. Because if I had a foul thing, I would have dropped it so fast. And, I mean, it's not likely that I reveal you, but certainly possible. So I think you should have moved. But, like, I think my opponent's plan is just... Like, get Gandalf, get these guys into Minas Tirith, and what? Like, I'm a little confused. I would have certainly moved, see what happens, and... gone from there. Get Gandalf. With the extra 2 character dice you have, maybe do this. Yeah, I guess my opponent has Dead Man of Dunhoro. Maybe that's why they wanted to do it. But you might even move a second time. I don't know. Maybe you separate some companions into Lorien in this position. Because you're not getting a muster in there. Yeah, it's a tough roll. It's a tough roll. Maybe I would just move. Just try to go fast and then get Gandalf. But, okay. Here, I get rid of power 2. Great. Because maybe that's what I should have done first. Because to avoid some companions getting into Lorien. It's that simple. Like, if my opponent... By the way, I kill Ulukai and... No, I kill the Swarm of Bats. And what? Nazgul Strike. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Wait, where did my Ulukai go? I guess I got rid of Ulukai for the card for the turn. Wow. Not sure if I agree. Especially... I mean, I didn't know my opponent would get no musters, because had these armies been huge, Ulukai would have certainly helped. But okay, interesting. It worked out. So here, my opponent, now that I got rid of power to grade, they use a ring to muster into Lorien, which I'm like, okay, so fine with. Like, just give me a ring for one muster. Like, that's totally fine. I go to Old Forest Road and just prepare to bring some reinforcements. I think at this point, like, if you also delay Gandalf for one other muster, like, I'm fine by. So I'm just, like, maybe tempting you a little bit. But now I attack Lorien. My opponent moves. They're safe. I attack Woodland Realm. And they get Gandalf. And yeah, just probably attack with this final C, right? I don't think there's that much... Yeah, I have playable cards. I have a good card. I can even play Phlox. Yeah, don't get hit by Thranduil. Desperate Battle against Heroic Death. And we roll 1 hit, you know. And my opponent gets 2. Okay, no reason to... Yep, stop is correct. Cool. All right. Just managed to kill the leader with a desperate battle. Lovely. All right. So turn 4. And at this position, I feel like I'm good. I am safe because yeah, the elves just got 2 musters like as early as they were at war. Yeah, Rohan is kind of defended. Ambar is ready. Southron's almost at war. I already started making headway towards Erebor. Like, I'm feeling fine. And now that the Strider and Boromir are gone from the Fellowship, I think they'll slow down, which will give me enough time. And I'm also rolling like 9 dice for a lot longer time. So I think I'm fine. And I have a ring, so cool. Half-Orc's Compliment and Dreadful Spells. Okay, not bad, not terrible. I look at one eye, roll one more, and again, just get a beautiful roll. Just keep getting attacks. I want to keep making progress. My opponent is, you know, struggling. Now, with this will, do you crown Aragorn? I think they will, and they will move. So, but the Fellowship is going slowly. That's the point. My opponent plays a mustard and types sorry, and then drops Kindred. And I was like, oh no, they just misclicked. But no, they just didn't have it. That was funny. It would be really sad to get hit by Celeborn or Thranduil there, but oh well. So they pass. I use Half-Orcs on Goblinmen, and this is excellent because not only it gives me an Isengard unit up north where they usually aren't, it also fills my leadership fully. So this is I think an excellent way to use that card. My opponent moves, they're safe. I attack Golden Realm. I can now cycle this Devilry of Orthanc up in the Woodland Realm, which is perfect, right? Or just disregard what I... Oh, okay. Here's the thing. Because they shown me Kindred of Glorfindel, I'm like, okay, if I play any card, they're just going to play that. So let me just bypass it with their terrible. Which and keep cycling character cards. So I like this play. Okay. I'm just like dodging advantageous position. Okay, so I get 1 hit, 2, and I get nothing. Okay, so now I can press. Interesting. They've downgraded 2 elites. So now that they're out of Elven regulars. So maybe instead of pressing in this spot, it's better to switch the attack to Lorien. Yeah, I say here, like at that point I was thinking about it, I think, but like after I draw the card, I think it would be like, after I draw the card, it would not be correct to just stop then. Like after you see the card, you're supposed to make the decision before seeing the card. So I think, yeah, I just go through with it. And what do I play? I think now I play the Devilry of Orthanc. Yep, and get 3 hits. Okay, like switching targets would make sense. But obviously that would require another die and another die. And I think my plan here is just be done with Dew. Just also besiege Erebor, maybe attack Dale. Maybe no, don't touch Dale, but like besiege Erebor. Maybe before this Iron Hill guys gets in, but it probably will. And then just keep switching, like then move your leadership. So that was like what I was thinking. But certainly it will be valid to just switch targets at that point. Also, another note, I'm cycling character cards here because not only I don't have a really good playable strategy card, I can also find Balrog, Grond, Ring Rates, Cruel Weather, all sorts of fun stuff. So I get 3 hit, my opponent gets 1, I take Wither Ram, cool. My opponent puts down the dwarves once, and I don't quite understand why. They do have Red Arrow, but like you want to keep the scout. Maybe you just muster Gondor down, seeing the Boromir and Striders going down there. If you want to cause some military shenanigans, but I don't know. The dwarves seem a little unsure. Okay. So here, I think what I should do is actually go besiege Erebor. Yep. Cool. I like this. And I take a small force. Just a force big enough to maybe not have a field battle. But maybe I should just like bring a couple more dudes up here just to maybe force them to go into siege. Because when they just go to Old Forest Road and just bring in the Iron Hills guy and I attack Erebor, they can certainly take a field battle. And I don't have a Dread and Despair. Like if I had the Dread and Despair, yeah, I wouldn't get. That would be really good for me to just cancel their combat strength and just deal a bunch of damage out on the field. But like given my cards, it's not looking likely. And so if they take a field battle, this can certainly turn south very quickly. So I think at least, I think this is a good plan. I think I should just bring at least one more dude from Woodland Realm up here to just roll 5 dice, like full 5 dice and full 5 leadership. And because North is not at war, these 4 dudes in Woodland Realm are not really that needed. Like just 2 is probably enough. Maybe even 1 is enough. 2 is totally fine. So like no need to let these guys just sit here. Just bring a couple in just to have this a little bit more guaranteed. Although this Witch King army being as small as it is may entice the free people to take a field battle and then just fight it out for a round. Like I wouldn't mind that, like dealing damage outside of the stronghold, trading 1 for 1 unless they get full 4 hits. Like it is a risky attack. It could pay off. It could completely like backfire. So very, very interesting ballsy play, I feel. I think it would just be better had I just brought 1 more HP just to like hedge those unlucky rolls. Like if my opponent has Valor, for example, here, they might just play it. But also, if I had Dread and Despair, I would have definitely played it. So it's a very interesting situation for both the free people and the Shadow. But I thought because the dwarves are not even close to being at war, there's no reason to take a field battle. Like if you take the field battle, sure, dwarves get mustered down once, but they're not at war, so you can't even muster in Erebor again. So if the fight goes like 2-2, like on average, right? 2 hits for me, 2 hits for my opponent. I just bring these Woodland Realm armies then and then force a fight, and now I have 2 extra hits. So, you know, certainly not a bad play by me. I don't think. Me again, just probably need a couple more dudes here. But anyway, so my opponent goes into siege. I think it's certainly fair, and this shadow lengthens that I've been holding on to from turn 1 is now going to be super nice into Iron Hills and Erebor. I just need to figure out what the other half of it will be, so we'll see. My opponent plays a Dead Man of Downharrow to bring everybody there. Cool. They're going to crown. Cool. Southron at war. Crown Aragorn. Muster once in Moria, just to have a valid second army to move to Lorien. Certainly fair. If this army just has a big excess number of units, I can just go help attack Rohan. So it would certainly not be wasted. So fine. And with this character, I play On They Went. Do I like this? Yeah, I mean, what else am I gonna do? Am I gonna really ring play Shadow Lengthens to bring these and then start immediately attacking? But if my opponent has Dane, like, I think this is fine. Whatever. So turn 5, I draw Lure and many kings. I've already organized my armies there, so maybe a little late, but I allocate 1 eye, roll bunch of Palantirs. And my opponent gets this beautiful roll, 2 wills and everything. Yeah, so because of the Day Without Dawn, they will use it. How do you use it? I think you should just use it as a... What did you draw for turn? Help unlooked for an Athelas. Okay. I mean, it sucks that you don't have any real playable cards. I think I'll just move with the Fellowship here. Yep. Cool. I get, I catch you and I reveal you. Like, good. All right. Can't complain. And I do play Lure of the Ring. Okay, yeah, I have all these Palantirs. Not all of my cards are going to be playable. King is Revealed is playable, funnily enough. I will play Shadow Lengthens. Maybe King is Revealed. I don't think so, but like I'll definitely use to draw some. But like playing Lure here is fine because Fellowship, corruption's starting to creep up, like for sure. They draw Mary. Mary joins in Gandalf in Fangorn. Okay, fine, to be expected. I play Shadow Lengthens, capture Iron Hills, stock Erebor, stock Woodland Realm. All right, now before I get hit with Dane, I need to be done with, yes, Erebor, with probably a Great Host. Not only it's cycling character cards, but it's a guaranteed hit. No quarter. So if my opponent gets 4 hits, they might cancel the Great Host. So let's see. I rolled 3 hits. So, oh no, 2. Yeah. This is extra. Unfortunate. And my opponent gets a single hit. So Great Host triggers. Now it's 3 against. Huge. I press. No reason to not to. And draw into Fighting Uruk-hai, which will be excellent in Lorien, I think. And just King is Revealed. Take 2. Just roll the 3 hits. My opponent rolls 2 back. And yeah, now... Yeah, Erebor is captured. These armies can certainly take Dale if Dale tries anything funny. So Dew line is looking good. Now I need to move my leadership and take Lorien before Celeborn shows up, and look for my other last 3 victory points, which Rivendell, Shire, Helm's Deep is defended nicely at this point. DA is still not defended. So my opponent moves. I catch them. I reveal them again. They random into Legolas. Okay, there are not many tiles left in the hunt pool that benefit Gollum, so maybe just take the corruption to be efficient. Small, but whatever. So I draw a strategy card. I'm really trying to dig for Corsairs, and I really don't have anything to do with this Palantir. I know I have a ring, but yeah, I will probably move leadership, attack with Fighting Uruk-hai into Lorien, and then what? Like, that's the question, right? So I draw a card. My opponent plays the red arrow. Now Rohan is looking at no-go zone. I attack Dale. Okay, why do I attack Dale here? Is there any rush? Oh, I'm just cycling cards. Yeah, obviously. Of course. Why not? Cool. Wait. What? Okay, I mean, I don't hate it. They get a hit, I get a hit. I feel like I should have played Swarmbats to cycle cards there. Like, I'm trying to find Corsairs, no? Oh, maybe I'm gonna cycle the strategy card in Old Forest Road such that they don't just scout away into Narrows and take Dol Guldur. Yeah, I don't hate it. My opponent plays Challenge of the King. Okay, they get nothing. Challenge of the King. They had a pretty decent shot of removing an eye, but unfortunate. Yeah, Old Forest Road and strategy card. Okay, I don't hate this. I can get my hit, so I'm completely covered. Like, Carrick is open, but like these armies can certainly, I think, handle it. And unless my opponent, by the way, I draw into Stormcrow, unless my opponent uses this die to just muster into Carrick, I might just even ring cover it. I really don't have any other Alpha army move though. They must have gone down fair. North should be at war. Does that change a 10? It doesn't change my opponent's play. Okay. And I draw another strategy card. Like, I guess I was like, hey, the Witch King's over here. Let's cycle some cards first. Try to find Corsairs and dig for Deadly Strifes. Yeah, even if I went to fighting Urukai, I really didn't have any playable good combat cards for the first round when free people can't respond with their card of their own, which is a huge deal. So yeah, I don't hate this play at all. And keeping Carrick open is risky, but at the end of the day, I think if they're mustering to Carrick, they're not mustering Gondor, and they're not mustering it to Dol Amroth. So I don't mind this. Just like keeping Carrick open is kind of like leaving a little bit of a bait. Maybe, you know. I'm not saying it would be scary if they muster once, two, three times here. They can certainly retake Dale, for example. But if that starts happening, maybe I can respond by mustering in Dol Guldur. So it's a bit of maybe a false path that Shadow leaves free people to hold on to, right? So let's go to turn 5. Turn 6. I draw Grond, and of course there's like, you know, when you're going for a military victory with Shadow and you draw both Corsairs and Grond on the same turn, that's gonna be a good turn. Like, I can guarantee that much. I'll allocate one eye, roll one more. Again, beautiful roll. I have stuff to do with the Palantirs. I have a bunch of attacks. Cannot ask for more. Okay, and my opponent gets a running roll. They can certainly now get into Moria. They need 1, 2, 3, 4 dice. Plus they would have a ring to play around Cruel Weather. Let's see. So they hide. Narya. Oh, okay. Here's one thing. I didn't roll. Oh, woe is me. I didn't roll a C. But I have a ring that I've been holding on to. And I basically fully show Corsairs. I wonder why I go Umbar. I guess I'm like, hey, even if you have Imrahil or Círdan, I really want to be done with DA before Aragorn can help unlooked for it, for example. Yeah, and they do have Imrahil. So I don't hate this. And I will definitely Grond Dol Amroth. So that's fair. I am playing into Celeborn in this case. But I think such is life, right? I can't play around everything, and I'd much rather try to be done with Dol Amroth when it's still free, because my opponent can certainly play. I mean, they can't muster, but yeah, I don't hate this. It's just I just selected this target. This is very interesting. In this spot, you know, you have Imrahil. How about just a thought? Just a small thought. How about you move both these companions into DA? I play Corsairs, you play Imrahil. And if I don't attack it immediately, then you Grey Company? Question mark? Would I try to force this siege with a 3-1 2 with 2 companions. Maybe. I mean, I do have free presses, and I do have like a Stormcrow, for example, to get an extra hit. I don't know. It would be really difficult to be done with a single combat round. So maybe that would be one way of defending it. But that obviously means that you're giving up on Mordor as well. It's tough. But like, if you give up, if you give up the free Dol Amroth, you're lost, right? I have Dew. I'm gonna have Lorien. If I take DA as well, I'm at 9. And yeah, Edoras and Pelargir's defended nicely, but like Shire, like I can certainly take it. Anyway, it's a tough situation. I don't know. Maybe you could have tried that to defend DA, but it's really difficult, obviously. Yeah. Now that this army is getting big, I'm like, okay, I want to be done with it. I want to be done with the siege. I attack Dol Amroth. I bring everyone. And yeah, like, I have some empty strongholds open. But I think I'll reach 10 before Fellowship reaches, Free People reaches 4, so I'm fine. My opponent plays Imrahil. Fair. And I just asked, was that off the Grey Company? Because Grey Company drew my opponent two new cards. And I was like, and they say it wasn't. It would be really cool because if it was. Because I thought when they played the Grey Company, I'm like, oh, that's really smart. They're digging for Círdan or Imrahil. So my opponent drew something nice. What do they mean? I guess a confusion, maybe? Okay. I ground no reason for DA to exist any longer than it needs to. They no card it. I probably just great host it. Like, when you play a Grand and when you can't like Deadly Strife or Desperate Battle it first round, it feels just bad. But obviously, I have to play a card. Oh, okay. I like this as well. Just get some extra like hits on 5s. I like it. And it does get me 2 extra hits, so that's 3. That's 3 hits. Cool. And against 1. All right. They took 1 extra there, right? That was they were at 5. Now it's 2. Okay. Round 2, I draw into another Cruelest Death. They play. Okay, yeah. They gun the card. I was gonna no card anyway, I think, just to roll some natural 6s. Okay, yep, something happening. No card. My opponent plays a Confusion. They get 2 hits off the Confusion. I get nothing back. And they get 2 more hits, so they get 4 hits. So I keep a press. Round 3, I do play Palantir of Orthanc, I think. No reason to just... Or yeah, like, if I have to press, I'll play Great Host, but at this point, just play the Cruelest Death. 4 for 2, get 1, 2 hits, so it's still alive, and my opponent gets 2 back. And yeah, I just stop because I don't want to get so low such that this army in Pelargir can just come and retake it. But like, I do leave myself open for a Círdan play with the ring. But if that happens, well, DA will just be a lost cause anyway. So my opponent passes, I attack DA, I just Great Host. Yep. All right. DA certainly fought well. That was a 12 hit point army against a 5 hit point army. So this is certainly expected. Okay, now I'm at 7. My opponent is moving. Now I'm looking, where do I get my final victory points? I still haven't seen Rage of Dunlandings, by the way. I still haven't seen a Power 2 Great. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to muster in North Dunland. My opponent has elites that they can muster into Rivendell. But if I threaten both Rivendell and Shire, I think that's going to be GG. So I just start mustering Northumberland. My opponent moves. They're caught. They're not revealed, which is a big deal. It was like a 50-50 that you reveal almost. But now they can get into Mordor. I muster one more time in Northumberland. My opponent moves again. Now they're not revealed again. Yeah, I caught them twice. No reveals, fine. Yeah, it's fine. My opponent takes it and doesn't reveal themselves, which I think is correct. You don't want an extra tile there. And I just merge in Northumberland and just cover Carrick. Like, okay, now that I know I will need Dale, let's just not give them any shot at recapturing it. I'll just go for Shire and Lorien for the final 3 points. And but my opponent is a Mordor, so if they get an insane roll, and the hunt pool is gonna be looking like. Let's see the hunt pool. I allocate one eye, roll one more, get a beautiful roll. My opponent doesn't get the dunking roll they need unless they have there's another way. And the hunt pool is looking not that bad. Like, I mean, through reveals, it's difficult to be able to dunk in a single turn anyway. So yeah. So I move all my leadership, and I think here is a bit of a mistake. Maybe I should put some leadership with Northumberland. Just to make sure that Northumberland rolls some leadership without the wargs, because if my opponent chooses to muster the Shire, there might be a big fight there. So yeah. And I have a Palantir. I draw into Day Without Dawn and Isildur. Yeah, this is certainly going to be tough. I do have a Palantir that I can play in Woodland Realm. I can just... Yeah, I'm going to fight in Uruk-hai anyway. So probably my plan should be fighting Uruk-hai, Lorien, and maybe muster one more time in Northumberland, and just go triple attack Edoras and Shire, and that should be game. But okay, my opponent does have There's Another Way, which is huge now that they can dunk. And they get a 3 and they just go up. I think this is correct not to reveal, because you can dunk, maybe. Highly unlikely. Actually, is it even possible if you just keep taking these non-reveals? Like, you just die of corruption. 0, 3, 1. Yeah, I don't think it's possible. You will have to reveal to avoid damage, and when you do, you will just you won't have the die to just hide and move again. So here, play fighting Uruk-hai. Probably should play Day Without Dawn here. The reason I say I should play Day Without Dawn, by the way, I mean, yeah, Devilry of Vortank would not be playable anyway. Like, Relentless Assault without any contested cards is actually very dangerous. So that's why I was like thinking that. But I get 2 hits. My opponent gets nothing. That's a good start. Round 2, I drew into my finally a Deadly Strife. Deadly Strife against Charge. Charge gets a hit. Deadly Strife just rolls 4 hits. My opponent gets 1 hit. Yeah, this is now looking bad. No card, no card. I get a 6. They get a 6. Okay, so I have a huge army left over here. Huge army left over in Northumberland. Yeah, just go for Edoras and the Shire at the same time. That's the plan. My opponent drops an elite in Pelargir, and I'm not really sure why. Maybe they thought that I would go for Pelargir, but yeah, I was not planning. So here I think I make a small mistake. My opponent technically has only 3 musters. Like 2 musters and 1 with a ring. Right? So if they choose to muster and Shire, like maybe they bring everyone to Westernnet with 1 die and move everyone into Edoras with a C die, they can defend. But that requires 2 dice, and the remaining 2 dice they will muster into Shire twice. Right? So 1-2-0 against the 1-2-2. So if that's the case, I really should just muster 1 more time in North Dunland. And then just with the 3 remaining attacks, just go for it. Right? Because my idea is like, okay, I'm going to Eastern Net, I'm going to Western Net. I'm just going to cut these off and attack Edoras. Like, technically, both these 3 are 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Like, they're very, like, in sync the way you attack them. So, as I'm moving 1 army, I wanted to move the other one and maybe use this muster to get the mouth if need be. But I can just win this turn, so I should just like get muster 1 more dude in North Dunland. But I don't. I think that was a small error. So now my opponent does this. So they're like, okay, I'm gonna defend Buckland, but this doesn't achieve anything. You have to use a ring to do this. Like to put them into to the Shire. Rohan is not a war. You can't even muster in Rohan. So the only way you defend Edoras is actually through this character die. And then just like go to Westnet and into Edoras. So here... Oh, yeah, I was thinking maybe my opponent goes to Lamadon into Dol Amroth and then Ring takes it. But like this has 5 hit points against 7 with leadership. Like it is certainly possible. But like I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna nip it out in the bud because now that I know that they're gonna use a ring, they're gonna use Buckland into Shire and maybe Aragorn into Lamadon, and then just retake Dol Amroth. So I wanted to cut it off and just go to South Erluin. So now they use a ring to double army move into Shire and Westernlet. So now had this army have 1 more elite, this fight is very easy, right? Just very, very easy, in fact. I have, I'm rolling 4 dice with 3 leadership. They're only rolling 3 dice. Yeah, that would certainly be, and they can't do anything with DC, but, right? I didn't. So here I was like, okay, I'm just going to go to fold. I'm basically, at this point, I'm threatening to just go take Edoras at the same time. My opponent thinks about moving the Tower Hills. It doesn't do anything because I can just go to Harlington and take Grey Havens. So they just bring in the reinforcements. And here I use the ring that my opponent gave me on the muster and just build a massive army here. It's a huge army. And with the final character die, my opponent just brings Gandalf and Merry into Edoras. And I am faced with a huge, huge, huge decision. Which one of these strongholds would I or should I attack? And yeah, which one of these strongholds would you attack? Which one of these points would you try to get? Looking at the Fellowship, my opponent may not even be able to dunk next turn. So maybe the best thing to do is just attack Helm's Deep and just take it and then just win immediately, like next turn. But obviously I can just win right now. So I feel like I should just attack one of the 2 cities. But which one? I was initially thinking about attacking Gandalf, but Gandalf has 4 leadership in a city with... I will roll just 1 extra leadership. Like, this is a very close fight. Right, right? This is very close. So I wasn't sure. If this army again had one more elite, this would have been the easiest decision, just attack the Shire. But given as is, I don't know which one to attack. So I run the calculation on the simulator, and I'll show you. Okay. So this is the Gandalf fight. Let me re-show. It's a 7-3-7 against the 3-2-5, but when Gandalf is shining, I will only have one leadership due to this warg, which is important, and they will have only 4 leadership. When it comes to Shire, it's a 2-1-0 against the 1-2-2, but like this leadership will diminish as the battle goes on because of the warg leadership. So this is the Gandalf 7-3-1 against the 3-2-1 with 2 hobbits in a city. I win 80% of the time. And then I'm not playing any cards. Like if I played my Relentless Assault, for example, it just budges a tiny bit. Because those are not like heal trolls. Like those cards don't really deal, are really consequential. We Come to Kill is a good card, so that affects it. But like maybe We Come to Kill into Cruel as Death. I can't even play Cruel as Death because Gandalf will be shining. But We Come to Kill into maybe Relentless Assault. Yeah, it's like a 92-9. Like it's a almost guaranteed fight. And when we look at the Shire fight, because the simulation doesn't account for warg leadership, I just like put the leadership as 1. Just on average, I think that's how many leadership I will have. And if it's a city, I attack, it's 75, 70, 75, yeah. And I really can't play any cards here because like if I do Relentless Assault, I think that would like hurt my chances. Yeah. We Come to Kill just gets me 2 more dice. So not the craziest, but obviously it helps. And if you just like to make sure that like if I attack with 0 leadership, it is 60%. If I assume that I have like 1 more leadership because of a Nazgul or something, then it's like at 85%. Obviously, and if I had an extra elite, then it's just like a 99%. But the fact of the matter is, the Shire fight given is harder, just by a tiny bit, right? So 80% versus like 75, they're very close. They're very close. And again, the simulation doesn't account for the warg leadership, so it is quite close. I think because of the cards, because of the stuff you can play, I think I should attack the Shire. I think I should attack the Shire Erdoras in this situation. But if I was like smart and put earlier 1 elite into South Ered Luin, because like this Nazgul leadership is 6, so if there was 1 more the Nazgul with South Ered Luin, or if there was 1 more elite in South Ered Luin, then the Shire attack would be much easier. So now because of the way I organize these armies, I've kind of put myself in a situation where like 2 attacks are very similar. So, and I chose to attack we were discussing with my opponent, and I chose to attack the Shire. And yeah, and Gandyman scared me. I think I should, because I should have realized that I have 2 playable cards there, which means I can cycle and maybe even find something that'll be really good. I think the correct attack in this case is attacking Edoras. But I make a mistake, and it's not even a huge mistake. I still am 75% likely to win the siege, but like, you know. So my opponent gets a pre, and it's a hit on a single 6. Okay, that's a huge hit because that reduces my leadership. So now, right, if I run the simulations on this, Now I suddenly my win rate went like 20% down just because of that single hit. You know, it happens. Okay, so I'm not gonna. This has been one of the longest city fights that I had to endure, and just sit there and roll like small amount of dice, hoping for a hit. And eventually, my opponent gets a big hit, and they completely wipe me off. And Shire just got dealt 1 damage and wiped a 5 hit point Dunland army, much like in the books. So well done, Shire. So now I'm like, okay, unfortunate. But now I can at least now I can attack Edoras and be fine, right? Fellowship is still not gonna be dunking because look at all these reveals. You need to roll 1, 2, 3, 4 movements plus any more to hide from reveals. Like it's not likely. And you do have a ring, but so let's see what happens. I draw Devilry and Warn. Okay, allocate 1 eye, roll 1 more. My opponent gets 4 movement. They roll the movement they need. So they pass here, and I think this is a mistake because you can certainly dunk through 1 reveal, right? You need 4 movement. So if you like these ones don't reveal you, so if you can avoid the eyes and the red, you have a chance to dunk. But like I just play Day Without Dawn to get rid of this will. Maybe it's a mistake. Maybe it's still small odds that they dunk. But I just was like, okay, now they definitely cannot dunk. Because if I let this will live, then they will just use it to move, and then they will get a chance to dunk. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to let them dunk. I'm just going to take Adoras and just be fine with it. Like, that was my strategy. Because, again, this army is huge. Pass. So now I get the mouth. My plan is, okay, I'm just gonna put the mouth in Westamnet, and now I'll get 2 more leadership into Gandalf, which is huge. My opponent moves, and it's a red stop. So now they definitely cannot dunk. And they reveal to reduce the damage, sure. And I put the mouth. I move some leadership in Dol Amroth because I'm fully expecting my opponent to try to recapture, for example, DA with the Aragorn. So I want to be ready there. My opponent goes for the fords to capture Moria, but like I'm unfazed because I'm just gonna attack Edoras, right? I'm gonna take Edoras, and that's gonna be that. And again, I do have nice cards that I can play. I do have Words of Power, and I think we talk about it. This is the battle of our time, and I think I make a big mistake and play Words of Power here. And the reason it's a big mistake is because I'm only hitting on 6s. Like there's no reason for me to get a leader reroll when I'm only hitting on 6s. When I'm hitting on 5s, canceling Gandalf is much more valuable. In this situation, I should just probably play Hill Trolls, get the maximum amount of post-combat hits dice that I can get on 5s, and then just see what happens. Because Devilry is unplayable. Cruel as Death is unplayable. I should just wait to play the Words of Power, but I don't. And my opponent, like, very nicely plays Huorn Dark, which now I only get 2 dice anyway when Gandalf is not active. So they perfectly counter that Words of Power play. And I do get 1 hit, which is on the luckier side, and my opponent gets 3. And we press. I draw into a character. Okay, unplayable. My opponent stays. I no card. I should just play Heal Trolls just to get some hits. My opponent Faithful strikes. I get 3. Oh, sorry, no rerolls. Yeah, so this, like, right? If this had been the turn where I played Words of Power, I would have gotten 3 hits. But now instead, Uh, I have actually, because of the mouth, I have 3 leadership, so I only get 2 hits. This other 6 and a 3 are not hits. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it would be anyway. It would be better to cancel Gandalf on when they are hitting on 6s, but oh well. So I get 2 hits. That's a good start. My opponent gets 3 hits back, and 2 on the leader reroll means they get to kill a minion. So this is gone like not so great for me. They take 2 hits and they deal 3 damage plus minion, and they choose the Witch King. And I don't know why. Like, I think the mouth is the correct choice here, because you do want to get rid of 2 of my dice. Like 2 of my leader reroll comes from the mouth, so you'd much rather. The Witch King is just sitting there doing nothing absolutely for the rest of the fight. So I was like surprised that they chose the Witch King. So yeah, I was like, okay, that's fine. Right? I press, no card. Like, this is a weird situation, because if I stop, Rohan's at 2. Are they at 2? If I stop, do they move down? No, right? I didn't attack into 4s. I only took Western, so they should be at 1. So when I attack, they are moved down. So if I stop here, I think they can't muster, and I think that's good. I think what I should do here, as awful as that is, maybe I should have done this earlier. But I should just play Heal Trolls first, get some more reinforcements, and then re-attack. But then also they get a round of 6s. So I think I should have played Heal Trolls first and then attacked into Edoras, just to have full attacking power. Because if I'm just holding on to it, why didn't I play it in the first round of combat? So maybe, like, the obvious mistake was obviously not playing Heal Trolls the first chance I get, and then instead of playing Words of Power, and then just cycling it, seeing another attack, seeing what happens. So here, the advantageous position nicely. They cancel 1 hit, so that's 2 again. And my opponent just keeps hammering me. Now they get 4 hits. Yeah, now I don't stop. I just take Edoras. And I don't know if this was a mistake. I decide to leave 1 dude in Westernet so that the Helm's Deep army cannot merge in Westernet. This Helm's Deep army and Gandalf can't merge with this hybrid and attack with this character. So if they want to merge, they will have to give me a ring for it. But this capturing puts Rohan to war. So they will be able to muster a couple here and then attack me anyway. So attacking with a 2 full leadership. Maybe one option is that you wouldn't capture Edoras, you would just stay put, because then Rohan would not be at war. But then they would just go back. But then I would heal trolls, and that would be fine. Yeah, interesting. Like, I think at that point I should not have captured Edoras and put the Rohan to war, such that these musters are like kind of useless, and then I can maybe play heal trolls and re-attack into Gandalf, or re-threaten to take Edoras for free, and also waste their time. So now that they're mustering, I play heal trolls. They muster again. Now that this threat is gone, I just put 1 more hit point in there. They attack Edoras. I asked them, did it Gandalf shines? So now this is a 5 hit points against 4, and let's see the odds of this. Wait, what is this? So it's 1, 1, 2, 3 against the 2, 2, 5. Okay. So it's a 1, 3 people are attacking. It's a 1, 2, 3 against a 2, 2, 5. But Gandalf is shining. There are 2 hobbits, which means I get 2 less. No, I get 1 less leadership. 6 against 5 in a city. Yeah, the attacker wins 70% of the time. So this is not even that. I mean, they obviously would lose the game if they not make this attack, but they're also likely to win the attack, and I have 0 playable cards. So they attack, they get a hit, I get a hit. I'm just going to skip over. And they roll another 3 hits roll. I get 2 back, and they attack again. And I need to protect the mouth at this point. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go back. Here, I start remastering in Orthanc to finally take out us. But like this obviously leaves Westernnet a little bit vulnerable. If my opponent has a mighty attack or something, they can certainly just outright kill the mouth as well. So certainly risky. At this point, Shire held, Edoras held. Where's my final point coming from? Uncertain. So we're going, and the Fellowship is not doing so hot as well. So turn 9 allocates an eye. I allocate an eye. Roll. Yeah, my opponent moves, hit a red. I roll 3 more. Good for them. And they get this awful roll. Like, you really want to muster. Especially Rohan. Whatever's left, you want to muster probably Gondor. You can certainly threaten a military victory with like taking Moria and Umbar. Like, there are very much open. And I did not roll much musters. Yeah, this was a bad roll for my opponent to get at this stage in the game. My opponent is threatening Moria with a C. And yeah, I because I just drew Pits of Mordor, I'm able to just defend my empty strongholds. So my opponent attacks Moria. Okay, maybe they can take it. It's certainly risky. And I keep mustering in Orthanc. They play Mirror of Galadriel. They try to turn a Palantir to will, which they cannot. Mirror of Galadriel only turns a character dice to will. They change their play. Okay, they're going to Druida now. Because my idea was, okay, I mustered twice in Orthanc, I'm just going to move these units into Westernnet and just attack, finally kill Gandalf and take Edoras and win the game. So my opponent is, they're just, okay, I'm going to go sally out with Minas Tirith. So I go, and they are. So now they can only defend it with a ring, but I have to force them to use the ring, so I just do this. And with this army, I am now Minas Tirith is completely open. So, yeah. My opponent threatens Umbar. Is threatening Umbar. I really don't know why, because you cannot attack Moria this turn. You can't win militarily, I mean. And now I use a ring to defend Umbar and just keep going to Dead Marshes. Maybe using a ring there is wrong, but like I was also thinking about, hey, Orthanc is also open, so they can just very easily sneak into fords into Orthanc. So I wanted to make it a little bit more dice intensive for them to do anything. And also get closer to Minas Tirith now that they have gone far away from it. I want this army to be as close to Minas Tirith as humanly possible. My opponent draws a card. We go to turn 10. I draw New Powers Rising and Breaking of the Fellowship. Okay, I allocate 1 eye. I really don't have to, but I really didn't want him to keep moving against a 0 eye tile. Like, if I don't roll any more eyes, then these eyes are all 0 reveals, which I didn't want to allow. So roll 1 more, and I get a beautiful roll. My opponent gets also a beautiful roll. So they also see they might think about selling out, but like, you have to keep some units in Helm's Deep, because if I get a free Helm's Deep, I win. My opponent is asking how the victory conditions are scored. If what happens if Shadow gets to 10 and Free People gets to 10, Free People gets to 4. In that case, a Shadow wins. So you cannot abandon your armies, abandon your strongholds. I mean, which is an important detail to be aware of. So my opponent asked that, and because it doesn't matter if they get to 4 and allow me to get to 10, they retreat, fair. They hole up and minister it, and they do kind of threaten Orthanc. Maybe they take Orthanc and take Moria. They're going for Angmar. Okay, so this Angmar play is just too far-fetched. There's no way you're getting Farharad and Angmar. I mean, certainly you can. And like Angmar, Farharad, and Moria, like, you do have the dice, technically. Right? I play New Powers Rising. Right? I want us, because my plan here is just, hey, I'm just going to take Helm's Deep. Maybe, right? I'm just going to meet up in Fords, attack, and take it, probably. My opponent is threatening Farharad and Angmar. Oh, they just actually don't do that. I think had they done that, I would have just mustered there once and then just be done with that whole deal. But instead of Moria, they move on to retaking Lorien, which was a little bit annoying for me. And because I can definitely win if they get to 4, but if they just retake Lorien, now I have to retake Lorien, which is a bit of a problem. And the Alvin's reinforcement pool is not that small. Like, they can still muster 2 elites. But like, Rivendell's open, by the way. I completely forgot to mention that, by the way, for a long time. But it has been open. So now that I had New Powers Rising, I can technically just walk into Rivendell as well, like 1, 2, 3. I have the dice for it, but they are showing musters, so they can defend it. So here I just say, okay, I'm just going to take Minas Tirith. Right, with the dice I have, I can both threaten Minas Tirith and go for Pelargir for the final points if they manage to retake Lorien. They take Angmar, they take Nir Harad, because they're threatening Farharad, sure. And I think this is a mistake. There's no reason to merge these armies, just like go threaten an empty Rivendell. I don't have a ring, but I can certainly move some leadership around and just walk in if they leave it open. But I merge there. I'm basically forcing them to use this muster. Basically what I'm trying to do is, as Shadow, I'm trying to force them to use a muster into Minas Tirith, such that now Rivendell's completely open. That is my idea. So if they, yeah, right. Like, which one of these strongholds do you defend, Rivendell or Minas Tirith? They defend neither. And go try to relieve the siege on Lorien. And yeah, I can technically, yeah, I can't reach there. I don't have a ring, but because of this stupid move from South Downland to North Downland, I am just 1 die short from getting to Rivendell. Had this army in North Downland been in Holland, then I could have maybe gone to Osgiliath and gone to Trollshaws, threatened Rivendell, and then like force them to muster in there or muster into Minister. Like I could have played in such a way that I threaten both Rivendell and Minister at the same time. They muster in one of them and I get the other, and also get the Pelargir. So yeah, this half army movement's certainly costing me some threats. So this was, I think, wrong by my opponent to not muster into Minister at this stage. Yeah, because I can't take Rivendell. If I take Rivendell, I can't take Pelargir, is the problem. So they drop Celeborn, I attack Minas Tirith, I just strategy card Devilry of Orthanc. One hit, they get nothing, I press, I get my hit, they don't get a hit. Alright, I'm at 11. My opponent passes, I flip them out to go to Osgiliath, and finally start moving towards Rivendell. They attack Lorien. They don't get a hit. They press. They get their hit. But now I'm back to 9. My opponent thought that I would be at 8, and that's the whole confusion comes from. They thought they were fine, but in fact I'm at 9. I have the entire duo for 5, DA 7, Minas Tirith now for 9, and Pelargir is completely open. I attack and just yeah, just win. All right, yep. Yeah, this was a quite a crazy game. It turned to be very comfortable when I was threatening both Shire and Edoras. And because I didn't put one more leadership here, or I just didn't muster in Northumberland once, it just spiraled into this insane military back and forth late game. And my opponent could have certainly dunked, but obviously that 3-stop kind of ruined that plan. But I mean, I did have many empty strongholds open as well, right? Like a military attempt by free was certainly possible. It's just that, yeah, it was one of those like end game misplays by Shadow by me that like cost the game, because like I think like the attack into Edoras, I should have done and played different, or like I should have prepared for Shire better. But at the end of the day, like when you start going to this back and forth and the ring is not moving, the Shadow is just so fine. Like the only thing they need to be careful about is, oh, I'm in this sorry. The only thing they need to be careful about is out of the nowhere military victory by free. If they avoid that, or if they defend against that, the free people has to move the ring. And yeah, it was a very well defended. My opponent really did a nice job of defending Edoras. And Gandalf still is alive with that old dude. So yeah, it was a really fun game. It like after all that stuff, it ended up being Dew and all of Gondor for the final 10 points. But yeah, it was a very well played game overall. I'm trying to think of any like particular other mistakes that I might have done or made. Yeah, I like, yeah, generally it was a well played game. Like the attack into Erebor, into Shadow Lengthens, cycling cards, completely disabling Dew, taking Corsairs, and yeah, and then fighting Urukai for Lorien. Yeah, I think it was a very nicely played game by me, other than that final attack into Shire was suboptimal. Yeah, because I just needed that. It was because it was also very weird. Had I used that muster, Yeah, just like must a couple times, like, and then move all leadership here, and like just don't even care about, like, just don't don't separate your forces. Just fully hard commit into Shire. That could certainly be possible, and then just win Shire. No matter how many, like they will get what, three musters there at most. Sure, like just have a fight without Gandalf over there. I think that would have been certainly better to handle. But yeah, oh well, overall, a well played game. Thank you for my opponent. With this win, now we're at a 5-0 win record. We're 5 win streak on in the Hobbit League, which is huge. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it for me today, and I'll catch you in the later, in the in the next one. Thank you for watching, and please let me know what you think, what we should have done differently. Maybe plays I haven't seen. I love discussing what I don't see during the game or during the cast when people point out alternative plans, and it just opens up a huge discussion, which is awesome. Anyway, so feel free to share your opinions and thoughts. So I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye. Later.